So, I'm pretty new to using Blender myself, um, and I thought this kind of video would be helpful for other newbies like me. It took me a while to figure out how to navigate it, how to do simple stuff in it. So decided to kind of help others out with it as well, because I continue watching YouTube videos on it and by other people, and I find them to be very helpful for me in terms of bettering my projects and learning about different tools, different options. Most recent thing I got to learn is texturing in Blender, but as of right now, I think I'm going to do the overview of a lot of different things, the major things that I consider to be super important when it comes to using Blender to make it as intuitive as possible for you to understand in as short period of time as possible. So, right now, as you can see, we are in Blender. Initially, actually, when you open it up, you're going to obviously not see a raptor. The raptor is kind of a project that I'm working on right now. You're going to see a cube. In order to delete that cube from the screen, typically what you would need to do is just select it with your arrow, press on it, and then press on delete button. As simple as that. Now, if you want to import some kind of a project to work on into Blender, what you would do is go to this file menu over here, click on it, press import, and choose your file. I downloaded, which one was it? Oh, this one. So this was the project that I downloaded. It was the project that I drew in Mesh. It's the website Monster Mash or Monster Mash. Don't remember, but yeah, it's a very handy website. You go there, you draw pictures, and it just basically inflates your pictures for you there. That inflation is kind of balloony looking, so I obviously had to download it here and work on it some more. The other thing you can do in Monster Mash is basically upload some kind of picture on the background, then draw over it, and there's some specifics how you need to draw in order for it to also be able to inflate as well. There are some kind of rules, but yeah, for now, you can watch videos more on YouTube on Monster Mash, but for now, let's just talk about my raptor that I got here. So, in order for you to move around, what you could do is press Shift and this squiggly wave-looking button and together, and then just in video games the same way as you do there, press on S to move backwards, W to move forward, A to move to the left, and D to move to the right. Also, another thing I noticed, which is very handy, is if you want to look around, you can also just use at least on the laptops who don't have a mouse, after pressing the shift and squiggly wavy button, what you can do is just start using your touchpad to move around. Now, if you combine these two things, look what happens. So, let's say I exit by just pressing anywhere. I click. Okay, so now shift, squiggly button. Now S to move backwards. Now I can look around here. Now I'm backwards at my surroundings. Now I can move backwards more and also do this, look around. This is kind of helpful in situations like this one, for example. Let's say you're trying to see his nose, right? To make his nose appear right in front of you. So what you could do is, obviously you could press an A button to move to the left, but now what you can do is navigate the camera right towards your right and keep on pressing the A button, and here we are where his nose is. Then you press on S, no, not on S. Then you just navigate the camera some more, adjust it, and press W. So here we are where his nose is. Let's adjust some more, A, okay. So now we have Raptor. When I first uploaded it, I had to, like I said, work on its texture. To do that, so right now, as you can see, we are in the layout mode over here. To deal with textures, what you would do is you have to learn another handy thing over here called shading. Press on this tab, and now you can basically do the same thing with camera to navigate around, right? Up, down, and moving around. Well, okay, hope you know this now, how to move around. It's not the hardest thing. Now, we're looking at our Raptor, right? But as you can see, there are several things about it. So you can see that it's kind of like triangulish over here. It has a black eye. The Raptor in itself is light green. So there's a whole bunch of things going on with the Raptor. So that balloony looking picture, which was all brown, which I told you was a Monster Mash, now becomes a completely different thing here. So now another interesting thing. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Camera moving around. Okay, so this thing over here, kind of sun looking, it is probably a sun, right? Let's see, yeah, this is sun. This is the Raptor. And let's move our camera some more. This circly thing in the background is the light. So on this, the right side from us, you will see a whole bunch of layers. And whichever layer you choose, like right now I have the light as the layer, it gets selected here, right? On the side panel. If we choose the Raptor, so now our Raptor gets selected. Let's find this layer. Here is that layer. when I uploaded this file to Blender, my Raptor, this is basically how I called it. So this is what's showing up as mm_frame2. This one, for example, this Raptor is mm_frame4. So just how I decided to label them. And let's see, this over here, this Raptor I called, what's his name? mm_frame1. So mm_frame1, mm_frame4, and mm_frame2. Okay, so now you know what all this stuff means here on the side. Now let's get back to moving around, seeing our Raptor. So right now you can see we have the whole Raptor selected, and we are in object mode. This is the object mode over here. To the left top corner, if you click on this arrow, down arrow, there's also the edit mode. So yeah, let's just go to edit mode. If we wanted to move around something, right? Let's, for example, just for the sake of an example right now we have this legs and arms of the Raptor, right? So if I wanted to move them closer to his body, for example, let's say I think that they stick out too much from his body, what I can do is I'm selecting, okay, let's see what's happening here. Let's move the camera again, and do we have it, this one selected, this Raptor selected? Yes, we have the Raptor selected. Okay. Now, edit mode. Okay. So this happens sometimes. Oh, so this was what I was trying to reach. We need to get the whole part that we're trying to move selected. Whether it's an arm, whether it's a leg, whether it's an eye. So to select the whole thing, we usually press on the object. It won't get selected full after that, but once we click together on Ctrl button together with L button, STRL plus L together, then we get the whole item selected. And now let's move the camera around again. Now what we can do is, now that it's selected, press on grab, G for short, and now we can move the whole object, right? So if we wanted to adjust it right, like to make it move over there, we can do that. And I noticed that for some reason lately I keep on having this kind of pop-up showing up, which I don't know, maybe it did some kind of adjustment accidentally, or it's just because it's at the stage where it is right now, something related to that. But another thing that I can make it move at this particular moment is by using this move menu over here, right? So if I move this x-axis, right, so it decides to move forward, for example. So let's go back, y-axis. Okay, so it extrudes Now let's say, like I said, I want to make it move closer to the body, and with the R-axis. Now we need to use the Y-axis for that, right? So now you can see it keeps on moving closer and closer, becoming part of the body. Now, for this raptor, I just decided to leave it the way it was. I made this change for another raptor. I'm actually curious how they both gonna turn out, both of them, with their specifics to where they are when I 3D print them. But yes, typically, so if you were to move an object, you would not have this move type of, not too sure how to call it, moving options with different axes popping on the side of your screen. You will not see that. You'll just be able to press on the G button and grab it however far away or however close you need to be adjusted. Yeah. Typically that's what you would do in these situations. But let me show you something else, right? Okay. So let's leave the arm alone for now and move our camera some more. So another thing, as you can see over here, is, like I said, the textures. And over here on the bottom, well, not really the bottom of the screen, but right under our top image of the raptor, we can see a whole bunch of different, not super clear with what they do options here, called texture coordinate, color ramp, principled BSDF, and material output. So these are all called nodes or nodes. Well, as you can see, it says use nodes. I think this is how I pronounce them. I'm not really sure, but yeah, so this is how they're written, and this is how they look like over here. So they're basically responsible for texturizing your object. And aside from that, another thing that is responsible for that is your side menu on the right as well. Because, as you can guess, in order to texturize something, what we're gonna have to deal with is basically materials, right? So that's why if you look over here, you would see something kind of looking like layers, but not really layers themselves. But they basically do the same kind of thing, if you think about it. So default, right? You can see it is the green circle. That is basically the material that I decided to choose for the whole raptor. So my whole raptor is greenish, but not only greenish, right? Like I have the surface principled BSDF. If I go, for example, to this kind of mode of looking at it, right? It's just a different mode of seeing. Completely white kind of circle on the side, top right side of the screen. So now you can see that this principled BSDF surface color is basically, this is how it looks like. It's the base color. But when we're gonna 3D print it, it's At least I hope. I haven't 3D printed it yet, none of my projects. This is going to be the first one. But when I 3D print it, it's supposed to look like this. Light green, right, with a whole bunch of kind of triangle-ish sort of thing. It won't be smooth, super smooth. There's a whole bunch of things happening here. First of all, it's green. Secondly, it's light green. Thirdly, like I said, the whole object isn't smooth. So this are a whole bunch of things to consider, and let's just break them down. Like, how did we get here, right? So in order for that to happen, you just basically gonna have to, first of all, choose your object, right? You're going to, like, the object nodes, you'll click on your raptor to make sure that it's the right one. Then we need to create a material. For that, you can go click on plus over here, then new material button, and then once you make your whole bunch of modifications, what you need to not forget for sure is to click on the assign button. Click on this assign button over here. Otherwise, it will not apply all of the changes that you just made. It will not be reflected, you will not see it. So now let's click on edit over here and undo, because I do not need another material at all now. So I'm in this default object type of material for my raptor, just how it's called, default object. And let's see, so surface, like I said, it's dark green. So this is something that we'll see in our color ramp over here. It doesn't really matter right now. Surface color. Well, I didn't really change it, I think, or maybe I did, don't really remember. But either way, you can just play around with them, figure out what works, what doesn't. Emission. Let's see, default value, input value used for unconnected subject. Well, it's just another option to consider. Yeah, I saw in one of the YouTube videos that it's also the important option to know. I don't exactly remember what it does, but yeah, you can research more on that. So these are the nodes that we have. Let's look at them right now. So this is what you typically will always see when it comes to nodes. They basically like already come this way, attached together. Let me remove this one for now. Yeah, removing it. So as you can see, if we were to just ignore this color ramp for now and just look at what I had to deal with in the early stages of my texturizing. Oh, also this was not connected as well. This to the bump node, and the color ramp here did not exist either. So what we had was basically just the material output and the principled BSDF connected with each other. So as you can guess, the more things you connect to each other, the more changes you're going to see, right? Yeah, let's connect the color ramp to. What was it connected to? Is it connected to base color? I will just go to edit. And undoing this, the easiest way to restore things. Might take a while, but it should work. Don't tell me that it doesn't work. Did they connect? Nope, they still did not connect. Also, you can see the other raptor on the background also became white, and the reason for that is because I basically linked them together with their properties. So you just create one raptor with specific properties, and then you basically make like the copy of those properties and apply them to another raptor. But this is just some more things to look up for you guys later. Undo, here it is. For a lazy person like me, probably the favorite thing to do is this. Let's see, was there more or not? Yeah, here they are. I was pretty sure there were more than just 4 of them. Oh, yeah. And the reason why they're changing is because by pressing the undo option over here, it took me to another thing, the previous thing that I was working on, which was an eye, which is black, as you can see. But let's go back to our raptor itself right now. And this is how it's supposed to be set up for the raptor to look the way I made it to look. So it is light orange, as you can see. It's not fully it's not this color, right? Which is setting up as principal BSDF on the side panel, right? For the surface. It's not that. So here what we're doing is basically adjusting, like if we want it more lighter or darker over here, and color ramp here. The reason why I included color ramp this on the bottom here as well is because the bump node, at least as I heard, it likes to, well, first of all, the whole purpose of it is to make the object stick out more, right? So if you draw something, like, I don't know, let's say some curls, right? It's just regular drawing of curls or something, or waves, right? So if you include this bump node, then it can make them become from the flat image, right? Basically the horizontal one, it will start going upwards, becoming more vertical type of image. You'll be able to actually see it extruding. Okay, hope that makes sense. And so this color ramp, as I heard, the bump node requires the image to be in black and white. So it's just the preset, you can say, for the bump node to actually make the image extrude. However, if you wanted to make it colored, you can of course include the mix node later on, and over here, right, and connect this color ramp to the mix node, and that mix node to something else that would be connected to this, both of them somehow. But yeah, it's kind of a bit complicated, but not too complicated to figure out. So that's why sometimes people just upload the whole library of these nodes for their images, for their projects, rather than just sitting and figuring out what to connect to what. There are just libraries out there that you can download for that, to make them look however you want. But anyway, so you get the whole idea with why the raptor is the way it is, right? But now let's go to his eye. So how is that when I go to the object mode, right? So everything about the raptor is green, including his teeth, but this eye is black color, not green, like everything else. So the reason why it is so is because I had to manually adjust the color of the eye, which also included going through this whole texturizing process. I had to obviously choose the object, just like I was choosing the raptor, to change the raptor, right? Right now I'm choosing this eye, Ctrl and L together, and now what I can do, now be careful here, if you don't do it like properly, it might not extrude the way you want it to be. Let's look right now if it will. Yeah, it did. If you do not pay attention to the way it's extruding, sometimes what could happen is, like for example, let's see if I can actually do it right now, right? And let's say I want to grab, is it moving? No. Let's see if I'll be able to figure it out. So grab, right? Oh, like this. I see, so I clicked on the image itself, right? The image is selected, but now if I just click on it and start pushing up, let's do it this way, right? To make it more obvious and scary. What's going to happen is, nope, didn't really work. But it is going to start extruding. Nope. I guess I'm just being pretty lucky right now. It's just not happening. Let's see what's here. Well, anyway, so what can happen is that this whole part of the object that you selected can start going outwards, becoming a rectangular or something. I recently made one eye basically the size of the brain of the raptor somehow. Just be careful with that. Make sure when you're moving that it is actually moving. Oh, here it is. This is what I was talking about. How did I do that? So I clicked on grab and yeah, I definitely did something. I definitely did something wrong and that's what happened. But yeah, you get the idea. Just don't do that. Next. What's this? Nope. Let's just go to undo just in case to be safe. It's probably my favorite button. Favorite option, right? So I'm doing this. And the more the better. Okay, now it's fully selected. And as you can see, let's go to, no, not the object node. So the whole object is selected, right? And the whole raptor is selected. That's important. For some reason, if you select the one raptor and then try to select the eye of another raptor, then you won't really get the result that you want. I think you're not going to just see anything. So the object is selected. Let's see which eye is that. Is it this eye or this eye? So for this raptor, default OBG, we have material 1 and material 2. So these are basically the two materials that I had to create for each of the eyes, right? Because I want both of his eyes to be black. Let's go to this one, for example. What do we see here? Which nodes? So we see material output, principal BSDF, which already came the way they are, as you know. Make sure that on this side, on the right side of your screen, you have base color black, subsurface color black, and the emission is probably going to stay black. It's usually always black initially. Now let's look at our principal BSDF, base color black, subsurface color black, emission color black. If they're not black, then just set it up to being black, because we want our eye to be black right now, right? So yeah, I just made eyes black, made the most sense. And color ramp, right? So you can adjust to the left, to the right, if you want it to be like super black, or if you want it to be lightly black. I'm not gonna mess with it right now. I don't like really messing with this menu too much, and I definitely want all of my colors, all of the eyes of all of my 3 raptors to be of the same color. Not, like grayish or like, I don't know, darker black than the others. I don't know, I just like this one, the way it is right now. So I basically actually tried transferring at first this preset of nodes to other eyes. Didn't turn out to be super intuitive, like with objects. Like, there is a way to actually just transfer characteristics from one whole object to another without too much of bothering. Let's go and see if I remember how to do that right now. So camera, backwards, right. Let's say, so the raptor selected with this one, no, STRL, and yes, so this is what we're gonna be dealing with. So remember how I said in edit mode, in order for you to select an object, you press on it, and then you press on STRL and L to select it. Well, if you were to do it in object mode, right, so you selected the raptor, there's no way how you can select part of the raptor in this mode. However, if you were to, let's say you wanted to transfer the characteristics of this raptor, frame 2, to this raptor, which is frame 4, what you could do is press on this raptor, then use that magic combination of STRL plus L, and now you have what? Let's see, link object to scene, right? Here we also have link materials, copy modifiers. So yeah, link materials typically is a very one to go with. If you wanted to transfer the full qualities of it, for example, right? For example, here I have one raptor, which is one-eyed. Here you can go and see, right? And I haven't fully worked on its eye yet, but there's gonna be an eye over here. However, if you go to this side, as you can see, he doesn't have an eye over here. I just forgot to include it. Probably gonna be a pirate raptor or something. So if I were to select this one, right, this raptor, where is it? This raptor is number 2. Let's actually look. No, this is raptor number 1. And this one we have raptor number 2 with sublayer. I don't know why it's popping up. Let's close it. Okay. Now we have frame 2 and frame 4 to work with. So now what I can easily do is go back to my camera. Alright. And let's say I want to transfer from the characteristics from this raptor 1 to this raptor 2. Oh no, to this raptor 4. Actually, they're quite spread out. Maybe I should actually move them around. See if I can do that. Nope. Oh well. Yeah, so this is where it gets tricky. So if you try researching some more on that, you typically find that you can select different objects together. I couldn't figure out how to do it aside from just selecting them from this menu. And did I just move them around or something? Let's see. Well, anyway, let's say number 2 and number 4 for now. Or, like this. Yeah. So we're selecting one raptor. It's number 2. This one's number 1. Okay. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Okay. So if I were to select this one and this one, right? So I'm selecting them right now in the side menu, not manually by clicking on the raptor. So now I select 2 layers. And now the qualities of this top layer, which is light blue, gonna get transferred into the qualities of, the properties, of this raptor number 2. So to transfer properties, if I were to transfer them, if I wanted to transfer them, right? What I could do is, in the object mode, this is important, you should be in object mode. Click on this ZRL plus L, get to this menu, and over here we have 2 of my favorite options are this link object data and link materials. If I were to choose this link object data, right, then what's going to happen is that, like I said, this raptor has only one eye. So if I were to choose that option with linking object data, then basically what would happen is the whole data about that first raptor would get transferred to this one, which would imply that aside from not just becoming green, right, like the first one, it is also going to get such properties as, first of all, missing this eye completely, right? So this is not going to be here anymore. Second thing that's gonna happen, obviously, right, is that this black eye over here is not gonna be black anymore, because as you can see, with this raptor, I haven't made the eye black yet. So this property is also going to transfer to this one. So all of these properties of this raptor are going to get transferred to this raptor. This was actually the kind of mistake I made earlier on by trying to just basically give the texture from this first raptor to all of them, but I ended up making all of them one-eyed raptors, and then I had to basically adjust that later on. So, getting back to the eyes of the raptors, right? Let me show you basically on the example of this raptor how I made the eyes of the other two raptors. Although if you understood how like the texturing works, as I explained earlier on, if you understood like how I texturized the raptors themselves, this is not going to be any more different than that, right? So it is, first of all, like what the eye is, right, to the raptor. It is the part of his body, obviously. In object mode, for some reason, it doesn't let us select things, right? If it's part of an object, then might as well be considered an object from the Blender's perspective. However, in the edit mode, that's where we get to go into the details of an object and play around with them. So, let's move around the camera. Here's the camera, right? We're moving. Let's see. The eye, right? I think I'll actually make him a pirate, really. Probably will add like that pirate kind of thing on the side later on. But for now, I think a pirate raptor would be kind of cool. Let's get closer to the eye, and they're usually like going to the side. Makes things easier, right? Okay, so we have the eye selected. So I basically like clicked on the eye, clicked the Ctrl plus L. Even if I did not, then it might be just a good practice to keep on using it and doing it that way. But let's see. So now it's selected. Let's say I click on J, and hooray, it did move. And for some reason I don't see that bottom left menu anymore with abscesses, but I'm actually glad that I don't see it anymore. I didn't really like it. Anyway, so now that we have the eye separate from the raptor, now it can basically... Oh, here's that annoying menu. Oh well. Now what we can do is make it easier for us to work with it, right? Let's adjust the camera again. Pim. Okay. So the eye is selected, and in order to make it black, what I will need to do is obviously create a new material, right? But let's see. Like I said, I want all of the eyes to be the same, and I don't like really playing with the color node. So that's why, let me actually first go to this raptor, selecting the raptor, and here's one of his eyes. Material 4, probably that eye, different one that we don't see. So over here, where's this scrolling thing? Okay, what I do is just select this color ramp like this, click on copy, just right click with the mouse button, copy, and now what do we do now? Go back to our camera, and bang bang, going back to our first raptor, and getting ready. Now I think we should be fully ready to change this eye, and after that I think I'll wrap up. So the eye is selected, but as you can see over here we're again in the layer, sort of layer, like I said, called default object mode, which belongs to the raptor. So why is it that the eye is selected, but we're getting the layer for the whole raptor? The thing is that we haven't identified this eye as separate from the raptor yet. But in order to change the color, we do have to make it separate, right? It's a different object from the texture perspective now. It's not a raptor itself. So now, like, what we're gonna do is click on this plus again, click on new over here, because so this plus basically adds sort of another layer, but it doesn't yet stand for the material, right? What we need is a material, different type of material. So we'll click on new, and now it is basically preset like this, all white as you can see. We need to change that. We want our eye to be black, right? So hence the base color, and just in case we're in this globe kind of mode over here on the side menu. Oh no, not this one, the very bottom one. So the globe mode in the middle is actually for the world, for changing the world's properties. But the one on the very bottom is the one for changing the materials of the objects. So now we basically go and start adjusting base color of the object, right? I just go to as dark as possible here, taking it up to the end. Now we see the base color is black. That's good. Also, if you want to change colors, you can either press over here, or if it is not working for some reason, just click on this circle right by the color. Okay. Nope. Pretty sure it worked somewhere like this, but never mind. So here we're clicking on this color and going down, down, down. Something around there is something not, hard to tell. Let's try again. Undo. Default, redo. Now we have our material, color, dark, as dark as you can. Next one, black, as dark as you can. Next, and also as you can see, I don't know if you noticed or not, but in this node type of section, it also changes. We see the changes, they all turn black, including this emission in black. It was in black here, and on our node screen, the emission is also black. Awesome. So now what we need to do is just add 2 more nodes. The ones that we, as you remember, I copied from another raptor's eye. Because I don't like playing with the color ramp. Paste. Now they're all pasted. Great. And now what you do is, of course, you take this color down to over here, you connect them together. Nice. Something happened, something changed, but we don't see any changes over here. And even if we were seeing any changes here, for some reason they would not actually appear anywhere until we click on the assign. See, I clicked on the assign. So even though this material was turning out as black already, the whole eye itself did not become black until I clicked on the assign button. We can click some more. The more the better. Okay, to be sure. So now, basically that is it, right? Now we just need to take this eye and plug it in back into the raptor. Let's take the eye, so it's selected. Now taking it back right into the raptor. Awesome. Now to make sure that it looks as it's supposed to, right? So here it is, not anywhere in the air hanging. Actually becomes part of the raptor. Extruding pretty well. Everything looks great. The eye itself is black, like we already noticed. Now, last thing, right? Let's move back and look at all of our raptors, how they all turned out. Pretty great, right? So this one is just in edit mode, while these two are not. So that's why it's all kind of black net looking type. Now go into object mode, and voila, all of our raptors have black eyes now. All of them are green, and the first two, I don't know if you noticed or not, the first two also going to have black eyes here on the side, while this one, the last one, the one I'm going to make a pirate, still does not have the eye on this side. However, it does have an eye on this side. So we reached our goal. So that is it. Me using Blender. Tried making it as thorough as possible. Hope you found it as informative for you as well. And it helped you out with a lot of navigation problems. And you now have the basic idea of how to create cool projects like this one. My next thing I'm gonna start working on is probably start sculpting objects or something myself in Blender. You can do that too. But yeah, for a newbie like me, I used Monster Mash and just fully transformed that to this great looking texture. And now it is all ready to go for the 3D print. And yeah, glad that it turned out pretty awesome, and glad that I'm now also able to help you guys with making projects as cool as this. And yeah, set you up for success with starting to work on projects like this or harder ones. And yeah, let me know in the comments below if you want on your progress with Blender, and if there are any tips and tricks that you would also like to share with everybody, feel free to post them in comments. I'm sure others will appreciate that too. Thank you very much for listening. Glad I was able to help everybody. Bye.